Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, let's call the meeting to order at 6:01 p.m.
Okay. Oh, we got more people coming in. Okay.
All right. And I'll let you take a roll whenever you're ready, Carla.
Sorry. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. So if you are here, please say present. And if not, we won't hear anything. Okay. Our acting administrator, Ruben Nolasco,
Present.
and Rachel Staylor,
Present.
Genevieve Hokinson,
Present.
Alvin Oseguera. I don't think he's here yet. And I, Carla Sanchez, am present. John Kearney. He just came in. John, are you there?
Sorry, didn't take myself off mute.
Yay. It's okay. All right. And Jennifer Grove.
Hi, guys.
Hi. And Jennifer Hamilton.
Present.
Great. And Brett McIntosh. I don't think I saw her come in yet. And Delfino Murillo.
I am here.
All right. We have 8 present and 2 absent. Okay, and do we have any guests with us today? You can unmute and just introduce yourself. I think we have Zahira or Zahira. Scott.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, that's
Hi.
me.
Yay,
Hi.
welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Okay. All right, Delfino, I think I turn it over to you now.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, Sahara, for joining us. Can you scroll a little bit down, please? And thank you. Okay. So did everybody get a chance to look at the agenda from, well, we didn't have one. So it would have been for 2 months ago. Did everybody get a chance to look at those? I did. Are there any edits that we want, any changes that we need? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Thank you. And then let's take a vote on that.
Sorry, trying to unmute also. Okay. Oh, it looks like we need to change this to aye and nay. Right, because if we're voting, that would be. Okay, Ruben
Motion to approve.
and Rachel,
Hi.
Genevieve.
Aye.
Looks like Mr. Oseguera is here. Alvin
Aye.
and myself, I. John Kearney.
I need a third column for abstain.
Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Let me add that right now. I knew there was something missing. Column to the right. There we go. Were you I?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you. Jennifer Grove
Aye.
and Jennifer Hamilton.
Aye.
Okay, and then Brett is not here. So for Brett, would I put abstain since she's not here? Or just,
No, I
or,
think it's a 4th column.
Oh,
I
Absent.
think there's an absence column.
oh gosh, now I need absent column. Okay, thanks
Just keep adding
everyone.
columns. Let's just
I
keep
know, I'm
going.
just gonna keep, I'll just keep going. Thanks everyone for.
I think you need a maybe column too.
She might be here. And Delfino? Sorry, we didn't hear you. Delfino?
Aye, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So now, because Alvin's here, okay.
Go down to
There.
the agenda.
Sorry, let me just add that Alvin's here. Okay,
Okay. So I believe, so that's a 6.1.1.
sorry, there we go.
Okay. So discussion topics. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to invitation to the public to address us. So I believe right now that would just be Sahira.
I have nothing. I'm just trying to see what's happening.
Awesome. Okay.
We're new, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, then let's just jump down to the discussion topics. And the first one is goals for the school site council. So this is obviously something that we want to establish for next year. Does anybody have any input right now or any questions? Any ideas they want to throw out?
I think one of the ideas that we actually kind of touched on last time is being able to work with the school and help with fundraising for them.
That's awesome. What do we think that would look like? Would that be forming a PTO type thing or just under the school site council working with them?
I mean, I honestly think that forming it under the school site council, kind of giving it a goal to have, so many essentially philanthropic events per year or something to that effect would be a good idea to kind of set as a goal.
I also feel like the school site council is a natural place for, not that we would govern other groups, but more just, I don't know if it makes sense that we would be seeing reports from, or maybe helping with organization. Like I know, for example, APAC has had a lot of trouble with getting books back, for example. So like that could be something that school site council, like we're there to help assist other groups on campus that are, making our community better.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. I think it's in regards to
Delphino, I don't know if it's anybody else, but you're breaking up for me a little bit.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
hear
I
him.
can't hear them.
Yeah. Sorry. You like come in a little bit and then break up.
is this better? Is it better over here?
Yeah, now we got you. Now not.
Okay.
Now yes.
Are you
Oh,
drinking
man.
Mai Tais in Cabo? What's going on, man?
I'm in my kitchen. The reception.
Yep,
Or-
now you're in Cabo again.
Oh my goodness. Is this better?
Yeah, right there. Don't move.
I'm like standing with the hanger on my head now instead
Yeah.
of see if I can get better reception. Okay. So what I was saying was, yeah, I think it'd be good for us to endorse and support other groups. We've always said that about like the APAC and the ELAC committees. In terms of the fundraising, I would like to set a goal, have a number in mind today so that we can make an action item for next month. It can either be a dollar amount or it can be a number of events. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I wouldn't want to set a specific number until we would know, like, what are we fundraising for? What are the needs of the school? Are there some specific things that the school has goals for that that we're trying to fundraise for already? For example, I know a library is something I've been working on with Dr. N.T. and Ruben on, like just very beginnings, planning stages of, but that would be something that we'll probably need to do some fundraising for in the future, but probably not yet, so it's like, what is it that the school's working on right now? Which might be a Dr. N.T. or I don't know if Ruben would be able to offer some insight into that. And then also, would we want to be collaborating with like the fundraiser that's coming up for Reach already,
I I apologize. I don't mean to kind of jump in, but I think I actually disagree with that. I think that we should set a goal of a number of events that we have, regardless of whether or not we have a specific fundraising goal, because either way we can set that fund towards what is the next big project, whatever it is, we're going to be already fundraising for it. So we already have it planned, we already have it set out. So whatever the school decides at that point, hey, this is how we're going to appropriate these funds. I think we should still have a plan for a number of fundraisers, but if there's some special thing that we need to do or some special fundraiser or something very specific, then maybe add that on as another fundraiser on top of that.
I think that's a good idea, John. That's kind of how the PTO had operated in the past at Reach. They would just, have these set fundraisers, and they would have their fund that they would then direct however it was needed.
As a upper grade, 6th grade teacher, I know events coming up, at least with state testing. We do like to have, at least for upper grades, and I don't know how many upper grade parents we have, in upper grade meaning 3rd through 6th with state testing. We do like to do like a breakfast for each grade level every morning, and being able to like provide the treats and the breakfast and the snacks for kids to keep them going and motivated during testing. That might be an idea to help out with something like that. Even with 6th grade events at the end of the year that we like to help like celebrate our 6th graders with like movie nights and different things like that, are just ways to really celebrate. But definitely with state testing coming up, those are little things that I know the school does and that we might be able to help support. And even at our spring performance coming up, that's like our big fundraiser, even if we can have like a school site council booth there maybe, and being able to try to entice more parents in, that could help out, and maybe have like a spin the wheel for a free dress pass if you sign up for information or give us your email or something. I don't know, just some ideas.
I love the idea of helping right now support the breakfasts for upper grade, because like it's so important if your kids, I mean, I know we have breakfast at school, but sometimes the kids don't like it or whatever. And it's so important for testing that they have a good morning start.
Yeah, it makes it like, we make it really special where they come in and we decorate the NPR, and just to have, if any parents can volunteer and they help serve the students their food, even though of course it would have to be packaged in certain ways, but now with restrictions lessening, I know we'll be able to have more volunteers on campus. So that could, even if school site council can help with volunteers in any way, that could help a lot.
If I could jump in for a second, we do have a big ticket item that we're working on right now, which is a shade structure over the NPR courtyard, where we just installed tables. So that's about a $50,000 project, and with prices fluctuating with what's going on in the supply chains and whatnot, that price can change, at any point. So that is a big ticket item. We're looking at about 50,000 for that playground structure. So I mean, shade structure. So that is an item that we can, begin to fundraise for sure.
Hey, Ruben, is that minus the Jogathon funds that were raised, or is that after the Jogathon or before the Jogathon funds are applied?
That is without I don't even know how the amounts of the Jogathon funds or anything like that. That's just as a whole. So it might be less, more or less, once we apply the Jogathon funds to it. I don't know the amounts. But and that 50,000 is just a ballpark, because we have to incur cost for the city approval fees and their plan check fees and whatnot. And then we still haven't gotten back we got a quote a few months back. We weren't ready at that time. And now the prices are fluctuating, constantly. So I think the turnaround time is about 2 weeks. So that price that I got initially, might change. So as soon as we have, an update on the price as a whole, I'll share that with you guys.
So can I make a suggestion, considering how close to the end of the school year we're starting to get? I mean, if we really want to kind of leap into this and assist with fundraisers, I think that not for old business, but for new business, we should put to a vote how we're going to structure this, and if we're going to choose a number of fundraisers, and then by next meeting come up with some ideas and see if we can try to get some organization around it, and maybe even have our first one before the end of the year.
That sounds like a good plan.
So how many events are you guys thinking? I want to balance it against the fact that we have a small student population, so we don't have a large, population to tap into. And there are already other fundraising events. I would think maybe one a quarter, so 4 a year, but I don't know if you guys think that's too little or if that's just right or if that's too many.
Yeah, I have a question. Do we want this all to be student-driven fundraisers, that we're just kind of pulling from the same families, asking them to generate more and more? Or can some of our, as the council, go out and do corporate fundraising? Because you have different big organizations here in our area. You have big businesses, and we could do anything to not, I don't want to say go back to the same pool of people over and over again, but my sisters all give at Jogathon and then they all give at this time. So we just keep going back to those same people, but if we as a council can actually set out, and it wouldn't be something that's going to that same pool of people, we may get a better response. And that may be, as the council, we may want to make that our focus instead of going back to the places that that the school is already going to and other groups are already going to. We can go outside and try to tap a different market.
Reaching out to corporate donations, I think, is like super important because we haven't established that over the last few years.
And this probably belongs in new business, but one of the ideas for fundraising that I was thinking of was actually reaching out to some of the local businesses and see if they will donate to like an end of the year event where we get the kids and the parents and we do things like 50-50 raffles and maybe like a snow cone truck and do a few different things, but also at the same time have these businesses donate to allowing the kids have a little bit of fun, and at the same time, hey, parents get to do different events. Like, well, 50-50 was the only one I could think of, but I'm sure there's multiple ones. Like if it's not too expensive to rent like a game booth or something where they can kind of pay a little bit of money and half the proceeds go to the school versus the rental of the game booth, so on and so forth.
I was part of the fundraising committee for my daughter's preschool. And one of the things that we often did is go to knock on like local restaurants and go to a bunch of different businesses to get, they would give us gift cards and gift certificates. Sometimes really high value ones. Sometimes it'd be like $25, or $50 towards a meal. And for them, it's a way for them to get new business in, maybe a family that wouldn't necessarily have tried them. For us, and then we would do a silent auction. And we had people from, like LuLaRoe and oil businesses and all kinds of, but I mean, just like tons of different things. I think it'd be really good to pull from outside of just, like you said, the Reach community. So we could look at basically, for example, I would spend $20 on something and it'd be like worth $150. So the parents make out, but the community benefits too. And then I'd be more than happy to work with, I don't know who it would be, but to help with writing letters and knocking on doors, especially over the summer.
So some of the things that I was thinking would literally be even maybe a small event designated for I worked with the Chamber of Commerce and I worked with a couple different ones. And a lot of the different things that we did was we attended smaller events for different organizations. A lot of times that organization is honoring maybe one of their local law enforcement officers, or they're doing something. and you have small ticket price to get in. Then you have a representation of the actual school and why we're doing it and why it's beneficial to the school, you know, how they've helped the school and things along those lines. And then you get businesses involved that way as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues that you can go without having to tap into to students and student families. So I don't know if that's something that we want to look at. I think this was for fundraising for next year, but I mean, those kind of things they're a little bit more involved in thinking and planning, I'm sorry, but they can definitely generate higher business or higher dollars for.
So
And
Ruben, I have a question for you, given that you're kind of the administrator here. And I don't know if this is offline for our organization, but is it possible to have maybe another position that's like a community outreach person that is responsible for doing this? Voted in.
Right. I think that would definitely be, you mean like a reach employee? And
It could be a reach employee. I think a reach employee, I mean, it could go either way. Maybe even just a parent that is very charming. I don't know, that's a good word for it, but connected, charming, anyone who is able to go to like businesses, has no problem walking in, someone who could be voted in instead of just assigned, but voted in to go and help to reach out to different communities with you know, people getting recommendations. Hey, go to this business, I know this person, go talk to them. Or hey, this one's always donated, and just have a person kind of assigned for that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a reach employee. It could be a parent, like the president and the secretary and everyone else who will do it.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think there's been talks of that in the past, and I think some people tried to get involved, but it never took off. We never found that one person that's, you know, charismatic and can build, you know, relationships easily, and, you know, can produce those type of relationships. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think Dr. Renzi would most definitely would not have a problem with, you know, having somebody spearhead that, because community relations is important. I think we tried to in the past. I think Rachel, you're on the line, right, Rachel? I think you were involved at some point with that also. It might
Well,
be mistaken.
I know Brandy, when she was an employee with us, was doing a lot of that kind of legwork. I've tried to contract someone to do that for us because I don't have a lot of extra time to devote to things like that. The person I was speaking with, it was just something that was kind of out of our price range at the moment, but he was suggesting just going to, you know, like Jen was talking about the Chamber of Commerce events. He was suggesting just going on a regular basis to like the Chamber of Commerce mixers, or like whatever they have on like a weekly or biweekly basis, just to, you know, get our name out there.
So Rachel, I don't know who I would need to speak to, but that's essentially what I've done in the past as a subcontractor. With COVID, I stopped working for the local Chamber of Commerce where I'm at now. But that's essentially what I've done. I actually began that way with the bank that I was managing. That's how I had to start working in there, and got familiar with the Chamber of Commerce, got very comfortable with the Chamber of Commerce, and then have moved to like 3 or 4 local chambers. So if I could have someone reach out to me, or find a phone number to reach out to somebody and speak about a position along those lines, then we can speak and start looking at getting that done.
Okay.
And you were talking about like hiring a contractor or an employee. I really think that, I mean, maybe under the school site council, it should just be a voted position. So we have someone who is working on that, dedicated to that. And, you know, it may not be a full-time kind of thing for them, of course, because they probably have another job, but somebody who is going to actually make those small connections. Even if they're small connections, they start building and building and building as time goes on. So you're not looking for someone to go out and pay for
Yeah, I think
a contract service.
sorry about that. I think it would have to be a volunteer position at this point. It's not, probably not something that's in our budget at the moment.
But you know,
Yeah,
oh,
sorry,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, when I was in outside sales for many years, I was always part of the Chamber of Commerce where I was at. I was part of, you know, different networking groups. And I think, you know, those are super valuable to be part of, even if the part of our fundraising for the school site council could be paying for the memberships. You know, and a lot of times, like, there's things like breakfasts, you know, where like once a week you go to a breakfast, you pay, you know, 12, 15, 20 bucks, whatever it is. You know, if the school site council, like maybe we have a volunteer that is able to do that, a parent that can then be part of that community for us. But on the flip side, if we could pay for things like that breakfast every week and the membership fee, and different events that might be, you know, part of it, that might be something that we want to focus on for, you know, it's not, those aren't high dollar fundraising, but those events can be super valuable.
We have to be very careful with what we do. Let's just start to like funds from people. We need to have a bank account. We need to have copies of that.
You're
Also,
back in Cabo, buddy.
man, is this better? I keep moving around because I lost you guys.
I know exactly what you're saying. Hey, if we're going to do something like that, we're going to actually start paying people out for things like this. We have to make sure that we have a proper bank account. All the finances are recorded very specifically, because you know, the IRS is a mean expletive.
Yeah, and just if we're talking about volunteers, I just spent yesterday and today literally walking and canvassing, raising funds through donations from different companies for my school. I work for an adult school in Redlands, and I just in the last 2 days I raised about $300 in donations. So I don't mind doing this as a volunteer. I don't have all the official connections, but we can build that stuff.
And I think that my suggestion wasn't really so much, hey, we have one person kind of doing all the work. It was more of, we have one person spearheading, kind of organizing it. But I think that it's important for the school site council members to all be a part of it, so we can all contribute to doing it, as opposed to one person taking on the entire burden. I don't think there should be anyone paid for anything else. We're taking care of our kids, so that needs to be something that the school site council has as a goal and is important to what we stand for.
I agree with that. Would be good to have a rotation.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah,
I just, Dr. Renty said that if we get, like, we could have basically an account or like a sub account at Reach. She had said, like, if if we had a check to us, for example, that it would just say school site council on it. So we could have, just through Reach, funds set aside that we, you know, keep as school site council funds for these kinds of activities.
yeah.
Do we have to add
Yeah,
do we have to add a secretary or I'm sorry, yeah, secretary or something to monitor that? I know that a lot of
Treasurer?
other, I'm sorry, I said secretary. I knew I was wrong. Thank you so much. But yeah, a treasurer that has to present it for each meeting to show what our ins and outs were, kind of thing, or is it just a generalization that we can do?
That would be a really good idea if we're going to start funding this kind of stuff. And we're going to do fundraising and things like that. If we want to have money set aside just for the school site council, we should probably have a treasurer.
I concur. Even if we don't have money set aside for purchasing for school site council, keeping tabs on the donations and everything kind of coming in would be important. At least we can present it formally to Dr. Renty. Motion to move to the next subject.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that we need more. I know we're going to talk a little bit about elections, so that's what we'll probably bring up, creating that position and then bringing somebody into that. The next one then is forecast school site council terms and topics.
I think we have an
Is it-
entire like 3 pages of doing that?
Yeah, I keep thinking it's going to be an action item. We're just gonna say, okay, this is what we decided. Um, I don't know that there's any more discussion needed on it. Does anybody have something they need to say?
Not really under old business. Under new business, I think that at least tonight we should probably vote on the number of fundraisers, and then maybe on the next one have a topic for ideas for a fundraiser.
Yeah, I like that idea, just to, at least for this year, like figure out, okay, are we doing one or two maybe? And then next week can figure, the next one figure out, or is it next week or when are we even meeting again?
Next month.
Yeah, to figure out what, come with fundraisers and then decide it and then we can do it.
I think it's a good idea to start with one because we're nearing
Mhm.
the end of the school year. We got tons of
Yeah.
events happening at the end.
Yeah,
and
because
we-
if we're not meeting again till next month, then that's gonna be already April, and then we just have that little bit left time, so I think one is definitely doable.
I
Mhm.
agree.
It would be helpful to see the calendar for when the upper grades, especially sixth grade, if they have any sixth grade events that we don't want to kind of.
I can definitely tell you that.
Oh, awesome.
Like trying to tell you and type at the same time. At least for now, plan is for the SBAC testing to be the week of May 16th and everybody testing at that time. But we do need to run tech tests, which are going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, just to make sure our system can handle everyone's computers at once
Mhm.
on that secure browser site. If that is doable, then everybody will be testing on the 16th. If not, then we have to break up grade levels by different weeks. And it'll be like the first week of May will be third grade, second week of May, fourth grade, third week, fifth grade, fourth week, sixth grade. It'll be broken up that way. So it just depends right now. But the plan is, if all goes well, it'll be May 16th when testing happens. So that means that breakfast, if we were to help with the breakfast or things like that, that would be that week in May, so the third week in May. If wanting to help out with any sixth grade events, that will most likely, I believe we had planned on June 10th for a sixth grade event. It would be that first or second Friday of June. That would be any sort of sixth grade celebratory event that would happen. So,
Are we looking to use these funds this school year, or are we looking to set up for next year?
but also like, and even how Ruben was saying too, I know that shading would be amazing to have, especially but it's always warm. So, but when we get warmer, because we have these awesome new lunch benches that all the kids have. I don't know. It's like middle school now. It feels like they're little square tables with the benches around, and it's all outside the NPR. I know not many parents have seen it yet. I'll have to post pictures because it looks incredible. But then if we got that shading over it too, oh, that would be incredible. That would be the best.
And I think whatever fundraiser we come up with, and here's my concept is that these sixth graders are graduating. It's something very special for them. So I think that if we're going to do a fundraiser, we should dedicate at least decide on some percentage, if not all the percentage, to cover what they need, and then anything extra to just automatically donate to that shading based on needs of the school.
I like that.
What happens now before the school site council existed? Does Reach just cover everything? Do parents donate things?
Yeah, so usually with sixth grade stuff and SBAC is usually around like right after spring break. Teachers would start sending out signups for parents asking for donation for breakfast items, for things like that, for who can come in and volunteer. And the teachers really spearhead all of that. And do a lot of that prep. And then the parents come in, get the help set up the NPR. But the teachers really set up all of that. And then it's all parent donation mainly. And then the sixth grade event is really the school, I believe. Like there's a set funds for certain activities. And so we help support and do things for the sixth graders with that. But I know if we are able to raise money for it, that would be even better, because then those funds can go elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, continuing with the status quo, I mean, having parents kind of, that's important for the parents and everything else, and having them volunteer. I mean, anything else that we raise is just going to add to it. So, I mean, I don't think we should change the current workflow.
Yeah.
Those do look cool, those lunch tables.
They are really nice. It just feels more like, at least from a sixth grader standpoint, you feel pretty cool at those benches. So.
With the okay, no, I don't want to get into the weeds right now. Okay, so John, all of that stuff that we just talked about, that would all fit under 6.1.1, right?
I mean, it's kind of, so the funny thing is it's kind of 6.1.1 and 6.1.3, because our idea is to reach out to families. A lot of that was trying to get families more involved. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of these fundraisers will probably assist with that too.
Yeah. Well, one that I had an idea for was kind of like if we could do like a catered lunch with parents and their student. And now I know that we're lifting mask mandates. It might be a little bit more conceivable to do, where a parent can come in and purchase, lunch for two or whatever. And
Yeah,
some
we used
little
to do family Fridays, family
Say
Wednesdays.
lunch days.
What was it?
We had family lunch days. Like
Yeah,
we
family
broke it up
lunch
into
days.
different grade levels.
Yeah, and we would do like every couple months invite, and this was pre-COVID, but we did basically that essentially, and parents could bring food in, or we'd have things, and we'd have one day for younger grades, for the lower grades, one day for upper grades, and parents could come have lunch, and we called it Family Fridays. And it was really fun, but then COVID hit, but hopefully we could start doing something like that now, and if we can help with that, that would be even better. So like, be it like a school site council represented event.
Yeah.
Like school site council presents Family Fridays or something.
I mean, does anybody know how to roller skate? We could like roll out their dinners. I don't. I'll do it, but that will be a mess. But I mean, like we can make it fun, something like a theme night or a drive-in night, where they bring lawn chairs or something, and we have a movie out on the lawn, and we're bringing out snacks to them and things like that.
We actually were talking about that. I can't remember who was, if it was the team leads or something, but doing like a family movie night. And we do, one of our teachers, Mr. Perez, has a big screen that we've used for sixth grade events. And we were saying like, yeah, set that up in the parking lot and have popcorn. But yeah, if we could do, that would be so much fun, I think,
that would be cool
for us too.
Well, and if we did that, maybe we could see about some sort of like a food truck. I know we're doing it for spring, for the spring thing, but like having a food truck that people could buy from, and some of that goes to support the school, so kind of having, or, maybe sixth graders. I know we don't have the science camp right now, but, at some point, like sixth graders could man like a popcorn booth or something and like earn money towards science camp. And,
that would be a big thing for next year, because next year, once we get to go back to science camp, that's like it is so much to raise money for that. And we try to come up with so many ideas.
Right.
And if school site council can help with that, that is like the hardest thing in 6th grade
Right.
to get towards.
What
And I
about,
know, oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead, you're still talking on the same exact thing, so I've got something a little off topic, so go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, and I know that it's, you know, I remember those days for myself, even though it was a long time ago, but I remember it being very meaningful for me to work to contribute towards my own being able to go to like my, my 6th grade science camp or whatever it was. So, you know, being able to do something where we can provide an opportunity for them to earn those funds.
And you were very specific to science camp, but I'm kind of expanding out there as far as events go. Like, how about like I mean, it goes up to 6th grade. So how about a trunk or treat kind of event with like maybe some Halloween booths and different things that people can throw ideas at. So kind of get all the parents involved, the kids involved, even the younger siblings involved that may not even be in the school yet, and just kind of have them all come out as a big family thing.
Yeah, like a fall festival or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great idea.
I love it. Should that be under ideas to reach out to families, or this should still be under the first one?
I think we've just kind of morphed everything
I
into
know
each other.
everything in
Yeah.
one, it all goes together. So we just want everyone to come.
And by the way, this should probably all be under kind of new business for a lot of this, but you know, there's that.
Yeah.
All right. So we're settled. Let's move on to 6.1.2. We're settled on those terms, right? And
Yeah.
and elections and all that stuff. I don't know the next step in terms of when are we going to reach out to parents to either start campaigning again, or if they want to campaign for the first time and run against one of us. When is all that going to happen?
It probably should happen soon, considering the end of the year is coming up. But I mean, I think the main campaign part of this should be, unfortunately, over summer, where you know parents are kind of where it's the end of the term, and then the new one starts with the new people. Oh no, I take that back. No, it probably should happen sooner than that because I need to at least transition.
Yeah. I think it's gonna. I thought the election was actually supposed to be around May, which means we want the campaign to happen in at least April, I would say. And that's, you know, half a month away. So I think we need to approve of it, or I don't know what needs to happen at this point. I think we've already approved the bylaws, we've amended them, and we're ready to move forward. And at this point, I think maybe I'll follow up with an email to Marilyn to let her know to go ahead and start sending out notifications to parents that want to run.
But should we change our bylaws to add a treasurer position for the officers?
I don't think yet.
I mean, we can hold a special. I'm sure we could probably hold a special election when the new school year starts to kind of add those positions.
Correct. Because then we're also going to have to amend the makeup of the bylaw, of the school site council, which is X amount of parents, X amount of staff. We might have to amend that unless we just pick one of those already existing positions to adopt or to take on the position of treasurer as well.
We have enough extra parents. I'm sure we could probably do that. But I think for something this, I don't want to call it drastic, but kind of a big change in all of this, I think that Dr. Renty would probably want to have some participation in the, at least the discussion.
Okay.
But yeah, I would definitely say like at least, I'm not sure when our next meeting is, but probably have announcements going out like after spring break, and then having that election like end of May, something like that, because then that gives everyone at least a month, I would say.
Which means we need to start gearing up
Yeah.
to figure out what we're going to say before spring break.
Yep.
And all of that might be something that Dr. Renty and Marilyn generate themselves. How they want to advertise it, that we need parents or we need whatever they need.
Yeah, and I know even from when we started in the original, like I'm sure she still has all those flyers and announcements, and those were really nice, like we want you type things, that they already had. So I'm sure Marilyn has that all saved still that we can use.
So as a takeaway, we're going to have someone who reaches out to Marilyn and Dr. Renty and lets us know.
Yeah, I'll email them.
And I hate to do this considering that we need to start basically before our meeting, next meeting. Do you mind emailing everyone so we're all kind of in a loop?
Yeah, I'll CC you guys.
Thank you.
I'll probably just respond to one of Marilyn's emails about one of these meetings because she's got it all down. Okay. Feedback on student needs is so I missed the last meeting. Is this when Dr. or Mr. Finley presented on student needs, or what is this regarding? Do you guys know?
I think this was a secondary discussion that kind of came up regarding, and I think it actually fed from the ideas to reach out to family, just covering as part of school site council and fundraising if there's any secondary needs that family have, such as breakfast, or if there's issues with buying uniforms, if there's issues with any of that kind of stuff, in addition to basically reaching out to parents and finding out how would the school improve, but involving maybe like the 5th and 6th graders, asking them what kind of needs do you need in the school. I think it was actually a very massive discussion.
And I think very realistically, transportation and gasoline is going to be a big need for a lot of people soon.
You could auction gas cards, or do like a kind of almost like a lottery thing, maybe for a fundraiser for gas cards. That might attract a lot of people.
Yeah, like a $2 buy-in for $100 gift card or something like that.
We could even have that, like maybe have that at the spring performance, if we did a booth and have that as like a little part of our booth, and have a buy-in and win a gift card or something.
Mhm.
If someone wants it, I know I won't be able to, we'll be doing performances that day. So the teachers won't be able to run the booth, but if any parents can volunteer, that would be awesome, because we'll be out there.
All I gotta say is I would buy in for that.
I would also.
I would be willing to donate a $100 gift card for that performance.
We could also see if like any, I don't know, local gas stations or something might be willing to donate too.
We would need a tax ID number to get people to be a little bit more willing, which we should have. So I
Yeah,
will ask Marilyn if there's a letter or something that they already use.
Yeah, they would have to go to the tax ID number under the school,
Yes.
and we couldn't like sub-tax it. So we'd have to make sure that we had a treasurer. That'd be a really good idea. I deal with this all the time, so this is
Yeah,
something I have to go through.
that's
I think
good.
I have a copy of that, of a letter with our,
I think we have a treasurer too. I think we're gonna get John. Okay, so I had a comment about student needs, and this is more academic. I'm really concerned, and not specific to any specific students or any specific thing at Reach, but I'm always concerned with how to improve student performance, right? And I 100% agree or believe that it has to be with building a strong partnership with the home. And so my greatest concern is, how do we do that? So it's one thing, I mean, we always hear it that the parents that come to the events are the parents that come to the events. Those are the ones that are already involved, and we get those. But how do we reach out to those that need a little bit extra? I know we talked about surveys. I don't know if we could maybe get a list of addresses in Canvas, or how to do it exactly.
Because even, and not to interrupt, but even when it comes with surveys, I feel like even with that, you really get those same parents who are the ones volunteering and part of things are the ones who are filling out
Right.
the
Yeah.
surveys, and not everyone will will even do the survey. Like I'm the team mom on my daughter's cheer team. And even with that, I'm sending reminders and things and that, and you get a handful of parents who do it and then the others just don't, are non-existent. So it's hard to like how, and like you said, how can we get all the parents or as many as possible to be more involved? Because as teachers too, we want that bridge, we want that connection. So
Right.
Maybe like a Mission Impossible self-destruct letter. If you don't answer the survey, it's going to self-destruct.
hey,
I'm not
we're a STEM
kidding.
school. Maybe our sixth graders can design it. We are a STEM school.
And I think one of the big things, so I mean, honestly, coming from a parent, most of the surveys that come out, I just kind of look over, I mean, even at work, most of the surveys that come out, I just kind of overlook. So I think one of the big things in determining what parents need or what they want is make them comfortable with it. So if it's not, and I know you mentioned addresses, getting everyone's addresses and canvassing, I'm pretty sure that would make people very uncomfortable. So one of the big things that we've used the community outreach things for a lot of our facilities is we don't just send them a survey. What we basically tell them is this survey is it's not a survey. It's we need to make sure that we did what we are supposed to do, or we're doing what we're supposed to do. So wording is very important. We don't call it a survey. We say, how can we improve? Give us your opinion, your best, your worst, don't care. And at the same time, one of the questions kind of snuck in there, like Congress sneaks little things on bills, it just kind of hides them in there, is, what do you need personally to make sure that your child is going to be successful? I just think that wording is very, very important. You just send out a survey, and to be honest with you, my eyes glaze over and I just ignore it.
So then let's make this a discussion topic for next month, where we write down some of these questions and what we think we want it to look like. And then that could be the meat of our meeting next month. So we can send it out.
Sounds good. I think that's going to be a pretty long topic.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know Mr. Finley did talk, and Dr. Wente last time also talked about interventions that we have, and they talked about before school, after school, push out, pull ins, things like that. But I want to also see how much these interventions are costing and how effective they're being. Like, are they, I've worked at a charter school before, and in a charter school, you have the luxury of being able to be very, very selective with what you do and who you do it with. And also being able to change it. If it's not working, you can change it really quickly. And so, you don't get into hopefully these long drawn out intervention contracts with these outside agencies. And so I really would like to see that ratio of how effective we're being with what we're spending on it now. And if there's anything that we don't think is really working, can we get rid of it and bring something else in?
We might want to request Miss Dumeyer to come in. She's the person that's the admin in charge of our intervention team. And our interventionists are all, as far as I know, all reach staff. They're hired by us. And then, we have like, for example, like all of third grade shares one intervention specialist. So there's some crossover with our special ed department as well in that. But Miss Dumeyer would probably be the first person we would want to just talk to. And she is the data queen as well. So she would be able to how effective is our intervention? What's working, what's not working? How could school site council help support that?
And I also think a lot of that is, in a sense, it sounds horrible, but kind of how we market ourselves as being able to assist. I mean, if we're going to make people off put, or if they're embarrassed, a lot of them might be. So we need to make sure that we are going through steps to market correctly to those who are in need to be willing to come forward.
What also I think we had mentioned previously, bringing the lead for each grade team, each grade level team. So like the 6th grade lead, the 5th grade lead, and asking them what their grade needs.
6th grade leads here already.
Well, I just think because if we bring Miss Dumeyer, I think she's going to have a very good big picture for us. But I want more specifics as well. Like, I mean, if kindergarten needs manipulatives, which ones do you need and what kind? And can we just order them as a school site council and bring them in? If 3rd grade is doing some kind of science fair, you know, can we partner with UCR and bring them in to do a presentation or something like that? I personally, one thing that I keep asking for, and I'm not going to let it go, is I would like to bring in the grandparents of our students to talk and tell their stories to our students. Real world application of history, of life. I want that in, and I've been saying it to the APAC committee. Let's bring them in. Let's learn not just from books. The book thing was a good idea, you know, but if we could bring in some real grandparents to talk about what they experienced, because that history is not that far gone, I think that would be very valuable. So things like that.
I love
will
that.
agree with you, except for if I brought in my John's only living actual like it's actually great grandparent, there's that might be problematic. So we probably have to screen them first.
Right. And, you know, you turn in an application the same way we would do it now to go on a field trip.
That's fine, because
I wonder, I wonder, even though with our technology now, like being able to do like a Zoom meeting in the classroom. And then no one has to worry about like campus stuff, you know, anyone coming on campus and being able to set up Zoom meetings and have that interview, put it up on the Promethean board screen, that person, and the kids can see them and then have that conversation. Just an idea. Then you don't have to worry about any of that extra.
As far as technology goes, I mean, it's easy enough to set things like that up. You guys ever need help with that? I'm here.
Carla, have you ever heard of any curriculum that is like family engaged homework curriculum?
I have not.
I was researching something a couple months ago, and I'm not sure how many providers there are out there, but there's one curriculum that actually, it's like conversation starters that teachers send home. And students can learn about like the point of view or the cultural experience that is reflected in like a book or, you know, literature. And then teachers invite the families to share stories from their childhood.
I know it was either, I can't remember if it was either Pearson or our reading curriculum that we have now, or if it was our old science curriculum, had that home to something connection. And it actually was part of it, but I don't think they have it anymore because they've adapted I think it was through Pearson, but Pearson has adapted the curriculum and we got the new one, and I don't think they have that anymore, but I can find out. Because
Okay.
I'll ask, because I know it's not on the math side, but I can ask like Crystal if they have that, because I love that. When I taught 4th grade, I would always send that home, and I loved that part of it.
I apologize, I had to step away, but just want to say one thing for this, adding to it. I know we're trying to, I guess I'm going back to kind of combining two different parts of the subject, but for engagement purposes, to be honest, I don't think anyone knows the kids besides the parents better than the teachers. So what if we ask very politely if the teachers could do and I know it's a lot of work and I apologize, a survey about the individual kids in their classes to find out what their needs are.
I think that's definitely doable, especially, I would say probably the only part that the teachers would ask for is to have a specific set of questions that you want answered ahead of time. And then to have the actual like Google form created. I don't mind creating that. We have gotten very good at that just over COVID times. So making lots of those. But yeah, if we can come up with whatever questions you want answered from the students, I would say like if we can just get that set, and then I'll gladly get it created, send it to the teachers, and then ask them to do it. I know they wouldn't have a problem doing that. So.
Okay, because I think that the teachers sometimes, I mean, sometimes the teachers may even know better than the parents do as far as what the kids need. So I think that's important to engage the teachers on this, because we need to make sure that we're not only giving the parents what they need to help the kids, but we need to make sure that the kids have what they need to help themselves.
I literally was thinking this exact thing today in class, doing a math lesson. So, you know what? I'm going to put a survey out and ask them, what do you need to know right now? Not what do I need to know, but it's like, right, exact thing. And I think that's the best way. We got to ask them what they need.
John, were you asking for the teachers to fill it out though?
So yeah, and that's kind of my thing. And I know I'm a very big proponent that parents need to be very involved in the kids' education. But the parents know so much, but the kid, I mean, honestly, the teachers spend more times with the kids sometimes than the parents do. So sometimes the teachers know much more than what the parents know that the kids need. Maybe the parents think that the kid's eating enough at school and not telling them when they get home, but the teachers seeing that they're very sluggish at the end of the day and not getting what they need. So I think, yeah, having the teachers kind of involved in the kids as a survey and finding out what the teacher believes the kids need, as maybe even anonymous, I don't know if you want to do it anonymously, but just having the teachers involved in figuring out what the kids need and what maybe the teachers believe the parents might need to help the kids would be a very important step.
Yeah, so I think if we come up with like a set of questions that we want answered, that would be best. So then we just know, and the teachers know what we want to know.
And going back to what Delphina was saying, whether it's asking team leads or doing a survey of the teachers of like, maybe just seeing what could you use in your classroom to give us some ideas of maybe things we want to fundraise for too.
I just know that like working on the admin side of things, we see these really cool ideas, right? It's not every teacher gets to go to the conferences and the workshops and things like that. And usually an admin team will go and they see these really cool things and they bring it back and go, here you guys go, we got you this. And nobody thinks about how it will be implemented. The fact that every teacher teaches different and every student learns different and every classroom is set up different. It's conducive in some and not in others. I know right now our district is pushing UDL and my wife's district is pushing UDL, and I still haven't seen a practical application of what that means in a classroom. You don't teach the highs and you don't teach the lows, but you include everybody and everybody gets a different lesson. I don't see how that's possible. And it sounds, go ahead.
Can you just say what UDL is? I'm sorry.
Universal design learning. So every student
Thank
has
you.
what they need. Sorry.
Sorry, non-teacher here.
No,
Sorry,
okay.
guys.
There
And,
are lots of acronyms in education, and we
No,
don't
that's
know
fine,
most
yeah.
of them.
I call it the alphabet soup. And some students have a physical manipulative and others have a computer and some have a video and some have a textbook and some have a written assignment. And I don't see how a teacher can design all that every day for every subject. I just don't see how it's practical. And so this is why I want to talk to the teachers and say, what can you use? You know, you have an intimate knowledge that Amy won't have, that Dr. Renti won't have, that nobody else will have, of your specific classroom. Not even your grade level, not even school-wide, just you. What do you need there that will help you? And so, I mean, honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to give them all the things they need. It'd be nice to put an assistant in every classroom. We won't be able to do that. But maybe there's something that we can do. I mean, I know for my son's classes, I'm usually like, do you have menial tasks that you want me to do? You know, can you email me a homework packet and I'll make the copies and staple them for you and give them to you on Monday morning? And, you know, when my kid was in preschool, I was cutting out student names for them to trace at home and things like that. And so, you know, as they grow, it becomes more complicated and less likely that I can help with that. But I want to ask the teachers specifically what they need in that classroom.
So maybe like a secondary survey. And you mentioned assistance. What if there was the ability to do that on a volunteer basis? What if we reached out to parents and found out that, hey, who wants to come in and help the teacher for, you know, maybe 1 day a week or 2 days a week to, you know, organize things and clean up, or you know, help design any materials they might need for lesson plans.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit, you know, as a parent who's always been kind of the classroom mom, I will say it's been difficult at Reach, just because picking them up is very much, you're picking them up and that's it. There's no walking onto campus. There's no having a 3-minute chat with the teacher. How did he do today? You know, is there anything that I can help you with? It's all through Google Classroom, and there's always a little bit of a delay, you know, because they're teaching a classroom. And then you're going to have some teachers who won't know how to benefit from a parent volunteer. In other words, you know, when I get an assistant or I get somebody who comes to help me in my office and I'm like, I don't even have time to organize myself enough to give you stuff to do. I just got to get to work. And teachers might find themselves in the same situation. You know, if I show up to Miss Hokinson's class tomorrow and I'm like, okay, what do you need? I don't know that she's ready for me, that she's ready to give me packets or copies to make or papers to grade and then explain to me how to grade them. And, you know, so that, I think you're right, John. The next step is a little survey of the teachers and figuring out what is and isn't possible and what they do and don't want. And then moving from there and then treating every teacher as an individual, right? So this teacher wanted this, we can do this. This teacher wanted that. This teacher just needed coffee. We can get her coffee, you know, like whatever it may be. Yeah, that's for me. I need that.
So we're doing a Starbucks fundraiser. Is that what you're saying?
I think we have to.
I'm in.
I think we have to.
How about we just get like a coffee shack on campus at all times? Let's.
Oh, I would make time to. I don't drop off my kids, but I would start. I would start.
Do one of those little drive-up huts of coffee.
Right?
Oh man, we'd really have a traffic issue.
And then on the roller skates? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, so I think we're so next meeting we'll talk and formulate those surveys a little more concretely. Let's move on to item 7, unless anybody else something else they want to add. Okay. Approving the minutes from January 13th. Anybody have any notes or comments on it? Any corrections?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, John.
I second.
Thank you, Rachel.
Sorry, I'm like trying to.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay, so let's do our voting. So Ruben
Aye.
and Rachel,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you. Alvin,
Aye.
and I will aye. And John,
Aye.
Jennifer Grove,
Aye.
Jennifer Hamilton,
Aye.
right? And Brett is absent. Delfino,
Aye.
okay. So 9 and 1. So isn't this supposed to be like motion carries or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we have no action items. I don't know where we're gonna put this in notes or just to summarize, but I'm gonna email Marilyn and Dr. Renty and all of you guys tonight about we're good to move forward and to open elections, and if they have any questions to reference the bylaws. And I'm also going to email Marilyn regarding inviting Ms. Dumeyer to come talk to us next time about the intervention programs.
And as far as action items, I would like to add into new business a vote tonight for the number of fundraisers we will do as school site council.
Okay. How many is that?
You mentioned 1 a quarter. Are they on quarter systems or are they
We're a
trimesters?
trimester. We're a trimester. That's what I was gonna say, maybe 1 a trimester.
I am good with that.
We could add a fourth and do one over the summer.
I agree with doing one over the summer.
Maybe we could say a minimum of 3, I don't know.
I mean, if we did like we can just say 3 and adjust it. I mean, this is we're voting on a minimum that we're going to do, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
3
so
and
this
then
isn't a
more as needed.
Yeah, because the summer would be cool to do like that could be our corporate dinner type thing where we don't necessarily need students on campus to spread the word, but we go out and look for these sponsors and move from there. Okay,
So
so
Carla, I think you need to copy the voting box above and
Will do. Okay. Just put it under action items, right?
yeah. I where it says no action items, just write
Change.
yeah. Oh,
yeah, so apologies. I've been in a lot of structured board meetings and I'm used to seeing a new business section. So
yeah. I don't, yeah. We would have to have, I think we would have had to have amended the agenda to reflect this action item.
I think you're right. I don't understand why we do not have a new business area.
So I don't want to discourage you, John, but I think we have to wait until next month now.
As it is.
Can we say just under these action items, like next, instead of
Future
voting
business.
tonight, we will be voting next time.
Well, that's the problem with
Or-
not having a new business area is
Yeah.
that we're kind of stuck. Like we just dug ourselves a hole.
Yeah, we would have had gone back to the beginning of the meeting and say we want to change it. And we can't really do that now because our guest speaker might have had something to say about that new action item and we didn't give him a chance to speak on it. If anybody was here at the beginning and then left, we didn't give them enough notice to speak on it. So can we just say that next month we will be voting on?
Tabled for next meeting.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to add something about having a new business section, or is that not allowed?
We can do that too.
Yeah, I think we have to have a new business section. I don't think we can't progress much if we don't have one.
Maybe that's something that we could ask Dr. Renty or Marilyn about the laws regarding this type of count,
It's Robert's rules. It's really
Is
odd
it?
not to
Oh,
have
okay.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we could that could be something that we start adding to all of our agendas.
Yeah, I think we need to. Like legally, I think we're obligated to have it. I think it should be there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm surprised we've been able to progress since then formally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any board comments from any of the members? No. Okay. And so then let's adjourn the meeting at 7:16. Can I have someone motion to adjourn the meeting?
Oh, pretty
motion.
please.
I'll second.
Thank you. So it's John and Genevieve. All right, guys, we did it. We survived another one. Look for that email tonight or tomorrow morning, and we'll go. I'll ask questions about the new business section and the other and inviting Ms. Dumeyer all in that email. Okay.
When will our next meeting date be?
Oh man, give me 1
Is it like
second.
the second Thursday of April?
So-
Okay. So April 12th, which works because our spring break is that first week. So
Is it second Thursday? Of
yeah,
April is the 14th.
14th,
Yes.
sorry, the
14th.
14th. Yeah.
Okay.
After the Super Taco Tuesday of every month, the second Tuesday of every month.
Is it? Oh. So you get an extra taco? Oh,
Actually, we're not scheduled until May 12th.
oh, we need to, I think, can we do April 12th?
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we
There's
should be,
nobody scheduled in April. I think because it was a short month. So we would have to call an emergency meeting type thing.
Let's
which-
do that.
Yeah, so let me reach out to Marilyn about how to do that. All of this will
Oh,
be
wait,
in
it's
that
April
email,
14th.
right? All of this will be in that email.
Okay.
So yeah, we're
So
not scheduling-
Thursday, sorry, it's April 14th, right?
yeah, we have some major action items that we need to
Yeah.
take care of before the end of the school year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever we need to do.
Mhm. Yeah, I just checked ELAC and APAC, and they also don't have anything in April. So, okay.
Okay.
Then we're
Thank
Thank you,
done.
everyone. You're awesome.
Good
See
night,
you
guys.
later. Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for coming, Ruben.
Thanks, Ruben.
Thank
Bye.
you guys. Have a good night.